Good evening, good morning, good whatever you're having, wherever you are. Hello, seekers. Welcome to OccultCatalyst. Today I'm sharing a deeply personal story. How I awakened, how I discovered my path, and how I became the being you see before you. My journey wasn't easy. It was full of trials, pain, and revelation. But it's my story, and perhaps it'll resonate with some of you. Let me start at the beginning. For a long time, I was lost, completely consumed by a life of drugs and alcohol. Seriously, that was all I truly cared about. The first thing I thought about when I woke up in the morning was getting high, and that was no life to live, really. It completely consumed me and was almost the entirety of my identity and my being for years, probably from 14 to 24. So don't do drugs, kids. These are my coping mechanisms, my escapes from a reality I could not bear. My family had its share of trauma, but the most devastating blow came when my mother, who had her own struggles, took her own life. It was a deep blow. It was something really hard to deal with, and I think today I have integrated that trauma through a lot of the work that I have done spiritually and a lot of shadow work. That's why shadow work is so important. But I am at peace with it now. It took me a long time to get there. That moment shattered me. It was my darkest hour. But it was also the spark that ignited the beginning of my awakening. Her death forced me to confront myself. I realized I couldn't numb the pain any longer. I had to face it, to find meaning in it, meaning in life. This was the first step, getting sober. It was excruciating, but through the pain I started to see glimpses of something greater, a truth waiting just beyond the veil. As I began to rebuild my life, I was drawn to the mystical. Witchcraft became my first foray into the unknown. I started with simple rituals and spells, candle magic, things like that, exploring the forces around me. I was more interested in alchemy and eventually hermeticism, and then I picked up a couple books, like a Peter Gray book. I'm looking at Apocalyptic Witchcraft, which was very cryptic to read. It was very strange, but later I have come to understand what it was about. And then I started to pick up other books, and I started to really just read and read on the occult, everything I could get my hands on. What was the main one? Angels and Archangels by Damien Eccles, and also his first book. Where is it? Anyways, his first book as well. Damien Eccles does a really good job at explaining ceremonial magic in a very practical and approachable way. I highly recommend Damien Eccles. Some people don't like him because he's kind of taken Golden Dawn and changed it to work in his framework, which is totally fine. That's chaos magic, so take it or leave it. This is more than just a curiosity, it was a calling. The more I practiced, the more I felt connected to something vast and profound. But witchcraft was just the beginning. My hunger for deeper knowledge led me to ceremonial magic. I began practicing the lesser banishing ritual of the pentagram, or the LBRP, every single day. Sometimes twice a day. Seriously. I committed to this practice for 6 months, and in doing so, I felt the first stirrings of transformation. Next, I added the middle pillar exercise to my routine. This ritual became a cornerstone of my practice, aligning my energy and deepening my connection to the divine. So those two, your lesser banishing ritual of the pentagram and your middle pillar, are things you should be doing every single day. Because what you're doing is you're starting to align the energy centers in your body, whether you're looking at the Kabbalistic, energy centers like Kether and I can't think right now. That's awesome. Tifereth, Malkuth, Yesod. What's the throat one? I can't remember. Anyways, very important. And you're basically starting the foundation of building the light body so that you can inhabit universal consciousness or higher density consciousness. I also began experimenting with the lesser invoking ritual of the pentagram, calling forth specific energies to manifest in my life. So the LBRP and the LIRP are practically the same ritual, it just is in slightly different form, where you are invoking instead of banishing, so you're bringing those energies in. And I eventually did an expanded version. I believe Damien Eccles also taught me this, where you would call upon like the angel, the planetary king, the angelic choir, and again, it's been a little while since I've done this, but you would call upon like every correspondence to that part of the LBRP, and you would really draw it out. So that maybe 5-minute ritual became like a 20-minute ritual, because you'd be calling all these energies into them, and angels and different stuff. So I started to really focus in on that, and I was making probably 2 to 4 hours of ritual practice every single day, on top of meditation, normally like an hour or an hour and a half of meditation every day. So we're talking about 5 to 6 hours spent every day on spiritual practices. This is how committed I was to gaining what I wanted to gain, which I didn't even know what that was to start. But it wasn't enough. I wanted more. I started practicing the lesser ritual of the hexagram, moving into the greater rituals, and eventually the supreme invoking rituals. They just get more and more complex and complicated with ceremonial magic. These rituals unlock new dimensions of understanding for me. Around this time, I discovered Kabbalah and initiated into the Tree of Life. Ascending through the Sephiroth was a profound experience. I reached Chesed, the sphere of mercy and expansive divine love. Yet even here, I felt a pull towards something different, something darker and more potent. The Tree of Life wasn't the end of my journey. It was merely a stepping stone. This is when I encountered the Qliphoth, the Tree of Death. I studied it for months, immersing myself in its mysteries before deciding to initiate into Lilith, the Dark Goddess. During my first invocations, it felt like I was speaking into the void, sometimes aloud, sometimes silently. At first, it was just me talking to myself, or so I thought. Then something shifted. I began to feel her presence all around me. It was like a wash over me of warmth and euphoria. It was like the best feeling I could describe, like no drug I'd ever had before. It was on its own enlightening. Then something shifted. I began to feel her presence. One day I heard a voice. It wasn't audible, nor was it a thought in my head. It was a distinct presence, a thought not my own, not in my vocabulary, not in my usual way of speaking. She revealed herself as Lilith, and I knew this was real. From that moment, I became a channel for her energy. At first I doubted, was this just an elaborate game of my mind? But time and time again, Lilith proved her presence through undeniable synchronicities and interventions in my life. Working with her opened doors I didn't know existed. And then things really started to take off. Other spirits began to make themselves known. Lucifer, Baal, Belphegor, Klonek, Hecate, Paimon. Each had a unique energy, distinct and almost palpable. The ultimate realization, through meditation and reflection, I began to ask questions and I received answers. These weren't just insights, they were gnosis, direct knowledge. The more I learned, the more I understood the ultimate truth, the one infinite creator, the all, source, God, the monad, whatever fill in the blank chaos magic deity super being you want to use, right? Fill in the blank. Every sign pointed to this. I am not just this identity, this human you see on camera. I am the awareness behind it. I am the one infinite creator. And so are you. The illusion of separation, this world of distinctions, is just that, an illusion. You are me, and I am you. We are all the same divine essence, the same infinite consciousness. Sit with that for a second. Feel that. Be that. I'm sure there's gaps I'm leaving out, but truly, those were the main steps I took towards my awakening. I think that initiating into Kabbalah, be it the Tree of Life or the Tree of Death, is a profound step in your spiritual journey and will give you a framework to work with these energetic beings and to accept challenges in your life for you to grow. So this is my story. My awakening wasn't linear or easy. It was a journey through light and darkness, through despair and revelation. I don't know if you'll follow this exact path, but if these words resonate with you, perhaps you'll find your own way to awakening. If this story inspired you, drop a like, comment, share, subscribe, please, it all helps. And also, join our community on r/OccultCatalyst on Reddit. And check out my new TikTok. I just made a TikTok for whatever reason. I don't know. I hope some people are able to connect with it who aren't on here, and we can get them some channeled messages and insights. So keep an eye out there because I will post regular channeled messages there on top of here. But I also am going to try to do shorter videos on TikTok every day. So hopefully I can keep up on that. Remember, you are the one infinite creator. Stay golden, my friends. Namaste.